Hi everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Andrew, and thank you to Aaron and the team for inviting me here today. Just a bit of an intro to myself. I'm responsible for our advertising business, our non-enterprise business in the UK. So that's our sales, support, and services across our advertising products, which are Bing Ads and the Microsoft Audience Network, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit about later on. But really, just in terms of my background, the last 14, 15 years have been around the search industry, going from the agency side through to the advertiser side, tool provider side, more recently here at Microsoft for the last 3 years. There are many challenges that we face in our everyday consumer lives as one-to-one consumers that we're looking to solve with the support of an intelligent addition of an AI infusion into a particular device, or it might be a voice input into Cortana or Alexa. It could be a location signal that reminds you where you need to be and how long it takes to get somewhere. For me, if I could solve any solution with AI, it would be to get my young children to sleep. I've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, but unfortunately there are certain things in life that will not be solved or even supported with AI. If I yawn, I apologise. One of those things is also late night conference calls, which have become quite prominent in my life over the last few years. So my talk today is around artificial intelligence, or is it intelligence amplified? What I think we need to do with AI is to simplify what it actually is, how it benefits us as consumers, and then how we as marketers in this room can use what is already around today to create a better outcome for our own customers or our desired audiences. What I want to do over the next 35, 40 minutes is just to provoke a bit of thought and start a discussion about whether we're creating something fresh and new, or whether this is a natural evolution and we've just achieved a point, or we've reached a point or an era in time where we have the technology to go after certain solutions. So the caveat I have, or more of a disclaimer, is what AI is not. And for me, this is not the Terminator or the Matrix or Star Trek in itself, but the use cases that we saw across these movies are becoming possible today, and that is to do with artificial intelligence. So if I simplify AI, it's as simple as saying we, as consumers, as workers, as individuals, we use and learn technology. We use a computer, we use a mobile phone. Artificial intelligence is that layer that takes this piece and allows that technology to learn us, to provide solutions or everyday tasks based on cognitive sequences. So I'm going to go through those in a little more detail. But before I do that, I of course represent Microsoft. I'm very proud to stand here and represent Microsoft. And we're one of the, I would say, handful of businesses in the world who can stand by a mission statement, which is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And when we talk about AI, we just fusion that on top and say, we want to be able to do that and empower people to achieve more with AI. The question I most often get when I talk about AI, apart from the one that Andrew just mentioned there, which is, is my job going to be taken over by a robot? The answer is no, by the way, you can stay in the room, is why now? Why are we talking about AI? Why is every conference I go to, somebody talks about AI and there's an answer, or there's a thought-provoking discussion around? We have been through eras, technological eras before in the past. We've been through the mechanical and electronic era. We've been through the computing era, of which Microsoft was firmly a groundbreaker in. And now we're in the cloud and AI era, if you like. And the components that have brought this together in what I call a perfect storm are these components. So AI is centered around data. It's centered around the ingestion and computation of vast data sets that come from multiple different signals, that come from your phone, your home, your laptop, any device that you have. That is essentially a line of data. What we are doing with that data is we are storing it in the cloud, and we are fusing that data together to create solutions. So we're analyzing that data and creating artificially intelligent solutions. And that bit's really, really important. As a company, right from the very top of our leadership, there is investment in and a belief that artificial intelligence will be transforming every single business on the planet at some stage. And what I'll go into a little bit later is the second line here that Harry Shum talks around, which is to solve some of society's biggest and most fundamental problems. My prompt there is, what's the point in having this great technology if you can't do exactly that with it? Satya Nadella is our CEO, of course, and he is also a huge believer. And our very first CEO, this guy, Bill Gates, I'm sure you've heard of him, he saw the notion that there would be a PC on every home and every desk. But he also thought that one day we would be able to build computers that would see, hear, talk, and understand like human beings. And that's really the most vital point of where I'm going to go today with this, because these are cognitive areas which take individual development, years of thought and great work, and fundamentally investment in to get to a point where we are on par or better than humans, and we can support humans and making humans better with this technology. We talk about, so we're investing in all of that technology, and we've reached human parity with speech, with imagery, with reading comprehension, and with machine translation. So we are getting to a really, really intelligent point where we can do even more. And we have an overall goal, and that is to democratize this for everyone. It's not about creating a solution that's off the shelf and somebody goes in and they buy it and that's the end of that. It's about democratizing it and allowing every business and every organizer, every individual to do more with this technology. We're doing it in 4 ways. We're democratizing AI with agents. So you'll have seen, you'll know about Cortana. Recently, there's a partnership with Alexa there as well. So we're going to be using intelligent agents to build those kind of conversational interfaces that people like to deal with. In every Microsoft product, we're also bringing AI to life in there. There's a few lovely examples that I like to give depending on who I'm talking to, but one of the most recent examples that I was shown was if you use PowerPoint. Who uses PowerPoint? Just a show of hands. Most of you. And does anybody work for a UK company and ever need to localize for a different language? Is that a challenge that anybody has? Quite a few hands. There is a one-click option on PowerPoint that allows you to do that with your presentation. That's AI at work. Services. We are creating enabling services, and I'm going to talk through 1 or 2 of those examples that allow you to do all of these things. So create bots, tap into the cognitive APIs that Microsoft have around speech, vision, learning, and that sort of thing. And finally, the infrastructure. We talk about the why now and the tipping point, and it's really about infrastructure. It's having the technology capability to do that. One of those cognitive capabilities is, of course, language. And I said we've reached human parity on understanding most languages. This is, of course, the Chinese to English translation. And just to give you an example of this is not a Microsoft example, but you can see where this technology goes from a consumable angle, and it shows how by democratizing this technology. So this understanding language technology, it can have a great effect when you're traveling in a foreign country and you don't know the language. And you can see the reaction of these ladies here when they hear a question being asked of them in their own language. Not just democratizing it for a consumer use, we of course have business solutions for that particular, for these particular senses. One of them is of course voice processing and natural language processing. And McDonald's is a company that used our technology to improve ordering. Fast food is all about the speed in which you can get food out, and they have a challenge around drive-through of it being very manual. A person ingests an order, writes down an order, takes it through, processes that order. So I'm going to move on to an example with this voiceover, but this is the getting that speed and digesting all of that information from a machine capability point of view, and then producing an output, which is the menu, allows you to automate that particular process. So that's not just an input of voice there. That's also, the real life situation or the context of having ambient background noise and an indecisive person looking to make an order in the McDonald's drive-through. So that's voice. Moving on to image. Image search is something that's not new. Bing is obviously a pioneer in this. We've got one of the strongest image searches. If you haven't used Bing Image Search, give it a go. It's really impressive. CaptionBot.ai is the consumer-facing tool. You can have a look at it and go do today. You can upload a photo of your 3-year-old son if you want to, and it will give you a description of what it sees in that photo. This is my son. The quote up there, I don't know if anyone can't see it at the back there. It says, I think it's a little boy wearing a helmet and riding a bicycle and he seems happy. Is this technology faultless? No, he of course can't ride a bike independently. This is a balance bike. And when I was producing this slide, I put my 1-year-old daughter in who doesn't have so much hair, and they thought it was a boy. So it's not faultless, but we're getting there. I can assure you it's a girl. And this technology from a commercial point of view allows us to go in many different directions. It allows us to create new environments that consumers like to engage with. And this, of course, is the Bing shopping interface through image search. I'm going to roll just a video on how we look to bring that image search to life, just to contextualize this a little bit more. So that's one example. Another example of image recognition is in this example here, which is another customer of Microsoft's, Uber. What Uber have done is they've taken a big challenge of theirs, which is driver verification, and they've leveraged the Microsoft image recognition or image from the Cognitive Services API to create a solution whereby the driver and the user has complete confidence that those images match up and the driver is who they say they are, and not any and there's no element of fraud or there's no element of fraud essentially or being dishonest from a driver's point of view. So that's an experience. That's my final experience on the cognitive side, bringing this to life. As I said before, and it's quite a provocative statement, but what is the point in having all of this technology if you can't solve society's biggest problems? There are challenges which we can't get to today, solving cancer clues and things like that, but we are getting closer with the use of AI. There are a number of different examples as to how we do this, or how we're looking to do this. We talk about things around cancer and healthcare, getting closer to the holy grail of those answers. Also, AI for Earth and agricultural solutions, and those which are really, really prominent to many around the world. And finally, in healthcare, this particular example here, Seeing AI, is a superb example of how we have used our technology infused with AI to help blind people navigate around their surroundings. And I've got a video which, if ever there was a video of prompting what AI for good or AI used in the right way can deliver, this is it.
We have so many people who are non-verbal but still have so much to say.
I don't know the exact same information that my hearing friends have. There are barriers to communication everywhere, but I think it's time to look at the barriers as opportunities to reach out to everyone.
So I think it fills in a lot of the mental map as you move. Approach the intersection. You can just put it in your pocket and go.
With ALS, you become locked in. But we see technology as a way to give back what ALS has taken away.
There's no better feeling than to hear a child say something that they wanted to say, and the look on their face after they know how to say it.
When it's reading, I see spaces between the words, and it's easier to focus on.
I actually realised that here was something that could change his life.
Now that I have my phone, I can see exactly what was said, and that's been a huge help to me.
The system is learning as it goes, and the accuracy has improved tremendously.
Students can pick any language that they choose to receive the information. It's like we jumped into the future.
Because images is very important, but all of us, again, just want to be together and not feel left out.
Les personnes avec autisme à communiquer, il y a des images. Je parle, je donne une information actuelle et elle est traduite par une application picto instantanément en pictogramme et après de façon orale.
L'idée est de brosser les dents.
On va pouvoir remettre en place une communication qui est plus spontanée. Je crois que ça va vraiment très bien.
Both my wife and I are totally blind, and we have a 3-year-old son that's at preschool. He can see, but his parents can't. So to be able to know what's going on at the school is everything. The Seeing AI app has the ability to allow me access to the visual world. Artificial intelligence is beginning to have an impact on the lives of people with disabilities, but it's only going to grow. There is still so much out there to be done.
That's cool, right? So that's the end of my kind of AI for good. Of course, I represent Bing Ads, and I want to talk about Bing in the context of AI. So across Microsoft, Bing is Microsoft's largest AI property, and it brings together signals from all of those. I talk about cognitive services, personal digital assistants like Cortana, our bot framework, which I'll talk about shortly, and of course, that the information stored in the cloud. Bing is currently today powering 1 in 4 desktop searches in the UK. I'll talk about that another time. We can have a conversation about that after this, mainly due to the deployment of Windows 10 devices across the world over the past few years, but of course our secondary partner ecosystem as well. We bring these together to create a more kind of intelligent search platform that gives you context of a user. We talk about personalization. That is, of course, the holy grail there. But we talk about getting closer in terms of context, in terms of what users want to see. So perspectives. If I ask a search engine to give me a perspective on whether coffee is good for me, which is an example that we'll see shortly, I don't want to see a yes or no answer anymore. I want to understand both or multiple sides of the coin. And we call that experience intelligent search. And here's how we see it. So artificial intelligence, or is it intelligence amplified? For marketers, we know that 85%, or there is a statistic that gives us a compelling 85% of businesses will use AI in some form or another by 2020. There are three areas really that we say we can leverage AI or AI solutions to help marketers today, and we're making multiple investments across each of those over the next few years and beyond as well. For marketers, of course, the challenge around personalization really takes you from turning these mounds of data that we all have at our fingertips into insights that help us to create a better customer experience, all of which using AI. And then finally, for the marketers in us, I thank the previous speaker for giving me a good segue into skipping a couple of slides. But of course, we talk about automation in this as well, and those automated solutions that leverage AI. Some other data points to really kind of compel or drive this home. 95% of customer interactions are likely to be powered by AI, using AI by 2025. 3/4 of all applications will have some kind of artificially intelligent solution or technology infused within it by the end of this year. And then this stat here, which is 30% of search results will be voice by the end of 2020. When I first saw the statistic a few years back, the 2020 thing existed, but the data point was lower, which has shown just the acceleration or confidence that this point will actually come to life. So that first solution area of turning data into insights, and then the second solution area of customer experiences. And when I put the slide together, I thought, this is it. This is the modern marketer right here. This is the solution, is turning data into insights and creating a great customer experience for your customers to go out and buy and advocate for your products. And of course, that data comes from everywhere. There's multiple different data signals in your own web properties, across your portfolio of clients if you are with an agency, first-party, third-party data. All of this data really is the key. And for us at Microsoft, we have our own data graph, unique data graph, which includes the properties of Bing Cortana, but also usability and customer data across Windows Dynamics, and more recently LinkedIn, of course. And the solution here really is that AI should help us to reach new audiences. We productize that. We use that AI solution and that kind of data ingestion and processing to create products such as in-market audiences, which allow you to pick, based on search intent, to select a segment of an audience. Custom audiences allow you to kind of take your first-party data, ingest and own and execute on Microsoft Search or Search networks. And then finally, remarketing paid search, which of course allows you to take a second chance and remarket to your customers. Our in-market audiences product is really kind of delivered for customers with really strong results seen to date. And the most recent announcement that we made only about a month or so ago was the Microsoft Audience Network. And this is the only audience marketing solution on the market today that leverages LinkedIn profiling data. So it's really exciting for us to bring this piece to market. And targeting is not new. You know, we've had targeting for decades almost. You can pick devices, time of day, day of week, go really granular, keyword, location, device, all of those. But what we're hoping to bring together is our unique publisher set, as well as a unique profiling set, which layers on the really high value B2B audience across LinkedIn. And what I would say for those in the room is, if you are interested in this particular product, it has not launched in the UK as yet. It's launched in the US. We can say that, you know, due to privacy, there has been some delays in bringing this to market, but this will be brought to market this month. So it's really exciting for us to be able to offer that as a solution to our customers and partners. And we do this across a really high quality set of owned and operated native placements, and we are looking to grow that placement set as well. So that's my kind of like that's kind of my sales pitch. But the final piece here, my second solution area here is around creating these engaging customer experiences with AI. Now let's go back to the cognitive services piece, because that really comes to life, and you can think creatively about how your business is unique and how your business can leverage one or more of these solutions. And I've got some examples. A key facet of this here really is the expectation that customers want to hear from you or expect to hear from you every day of the week, at almost every hour. And personalisation is going to be key, personalising an experience for them. And what helps more than most, or what's been on the rise to help consumers more than most is chat interfaces and chatbots. And here's an example of a customer in the US, a home improvement provider, who has leveraged our bot framework to create a chat, and also our cognitive services API to bring in image recognition, and also location services and other signals as well. So this is an experience that this customer provided that was unique to them, that allowed them to give a different perspective or more access to their goods and services at any hour of the day. Just wait for the video to load there. And of course, the action is around booking that particular professional based on that set of circumstances. Here's another go-do for me. The Microsoft Bot Framework is a free tool that you can access. You can create a bot in minutes. You can code it once and deploy to all of the first-party Microsoft-owned, but also third-party systems like Facebook Messenger, Slack, and Telegram as well. We're testing how we think this can be a commercial use in search. What the example you'll see on the screen here is a specific restaurant search with an in-browser restaurant chatbot. This is in alpha in the US. I believe that there are going to be opportunities to leverage this kind of technology if we bring it to the UK. This is super interesting. It's one layer of an application, and for me, I look at this and say, this is a really unique and intelligent way to provide a good experience for ourselves, for our customers who are searching on our platform. Here's the go-do, Q&A-maker.ai. It allows you to create that bot in minutes. We run build-a-bot workshops. We've got multiple videos online that show you how to do this. I would say if you're interested, if this is an experience that is relevant to your customers, take this one away and have a go. It is that easy, and I wouldn't profess to be the most technical person in the room, but I found this really, really useful and satisfying to get to the end of, quite frankly. Finally, the modern marketer. How can we use AI to make the modern marketer, yourselves, more intelligent and carve out that time? We spoke earlier about automation, and there are automation solutions in this and what we're producing. Fundamentally, this is about creating the time to do other fundamentals of your job better. Some of you will be very familiar with some of these solutions. So from an operational point of view, for the search marketer, dynamic search ads is in general release. It's an example of one of those AI-infused solutions. Allows you to automatically target relevant search queries based on website content, and then a more kind of marketer-friendly example, or a marketer-friendly example is of auto bidding, which is not a new concept. But with AI, you are able to learn behaviors, learn propensity to click behaviors, learn propensity to convert if you bring that data together. And this really kind of saves you as marketers time and money with your search investment. And I want to close on the three kind of key takeaways from this, and then I'm going to roll one more video. But to summarize what I've spoken about today, this is fundamentally, artificial intelligence is fundamentally about making humans better in a commercial sense and also in a societal challenge sense. It's not to be feared in a sense that it is to be embraced in a way that it can make every one of our lives and business challenges that incrementally bit better. Because it's fundamentally about a technology enhancement. As a company, we are looking to not only democratize AI for everyone, but also we want to use that for good as well, for solving society's largest challenges. And finally, there are endless opportunities for marketers. Depending on how creative you want to be, or the demands of your customers, you can really set out today, do things today, and achieve things today. And we feel like we're only at the start of what we can do here. And my final piece is just around a video, and then I'm happy to, if we have some time, to take questions or be outside in the break. So this really sums it up quite nicely.
Today, right now, you have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. Think about that. That's what technology really is. It's possibility, it's adaptability, it's capability. But in the end, it's only a tool. What's a hammer without a person who swings it? It's not about what technology can do, it's about what you can do with it. You're the voice, and it's the microphone. When you're the artist, it's the paintbrush. We are living in the future we always dreamed of. We have reached reality that changes how we see the world, and AI empowering us to change the world we see. You have more power at your fingertips than entire generations that came before you. So here's the question: what will you do with it?
So once again, thank you for having me. Feel free to connect in the break afterwards. Thank you.